Was it the right call to lock down?
No, because it's essentially using a sledgehammer to crack a nut. 21 cases. If you had a decent contact tracing team, if you had confidence in your contact tracing team, if you had decent infection control and decent protocols at hotel quarantine, you wouldn't need to use a sledgehammer to crack a nut, which is what a statewide lockdown for 20 cases is.
If these numbers do continue to remain low, and we'll get an update soon, Tim, on the daily update on new cases, though, if they stay low and then you find yourself out of lockdown by Thursday, wouldn't that prove to be the right call then?
No, not at all, Pete. It just shows that Daniel Andrews has no confidence in his public health team, no confidence in his case management team. It shows that, frankly, the facts speak for themselves. The vast majority of close contacts had not been contacted by last Tuesday. They failed to meet their benchmark. In fact, Brett Sutton had to explain himself to the AHPPC as to why, once again, Victorian contact tracers had not reached the required standard in the early stages of an outbreak.
We had the Chamber of Commerce, Paul Guerra, on the show a little bit earlier, Tim. He's saying financially, businesses in Victoria and Melbourne specifically lost a lot of money over the weekend, in excess of $100 million, given all the events that are taking place. He believes that there's going to need to be some kind of cash payments to help businesses that, you know, the money that they lost over the weekend to recover that lost money. Is that something that you would support?
Absolutely. I think these businesses should be compensated. Let's take the hospitality sector, for example. They've lost $91 million over this lockdown. Last week, well, the weekend just been, is one of the busiest weekends in Melbourne, Chinese New Year and Valentines Day. $20-odd million in food just thrown away, $91 million, almost $100 million in lost earnings for the hospitality sector that has done it so hard over basically the last year of lockdowns. They need to be compensated because it's not their fault that Daniel Andrews doesn't have a good contact tracing team, doesn't have appropriate protocols in hotel quarantine, and they're being punished for this man's incompetence. Now, my message to Daniel Andrews this morning is very simple. Pick up the phone, call Gladys Berejiklian, ask her to send her officials down from Sydney to Melbourne to teach our officials how to manage hotel quarantine properly, how to manage contact tracing properly, and then, Daniel Andrews, please resign.
Okay, just finally, Tim, this quarantine facility in Geelong, is that something that you would support?
Oh, look, I think it seems to have merit, but let's be very clear about this. New South Wales has been quarantining 4 times the number of people than Victoria in downtown hotels without a problem. And there's been a few glitches here and there, as there always will be, but they've seemed to manage it much better than Victoria. So I don't think that the issue is where people are being quarantined in Melbourne per se. It's the problem is that our officials and indeed the Victorian government continuously get virus control, infection control completely wrong. And in Sydney, they seem to be so much better at it.